Hello and welcome to the Keto Man's Club podcast.
We're glad you're here, where each week we talk about men's health and lifestyle.
We do so with the foundation of the ketogenic diet and lifestyle.
If you don't know what keto is, stick around and you'll find out.
The podcast will bring you real, honest fun.
Each week we strive to uncover the tips and tricks that you can use in your everyday life to maximize your overall health.
Find the clearest path to becoming the best version of yourself that you were meant to be.
Eat meat, lift heavy, sleep, and repeat. We call that our life cycle. Made a shirt about it, and it rings true with who we are as a podcast and a group. We are fortunate enough to have partnered with a company who can help us achieve one of those three key elements: Som Sleep. They have a keto-friendly version of their delicious sleep aid drink, and we're loving it. It's a lightly flavored 8-ounce anti-energy drink. You drink it roughly 30 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep, and you'll feel it help you into a deep, restful, all-night sleep. It provides some helpful elements to do so, including magnesium, GABA, and melatonin. When combined, you have a powerful tool for getting the impactful sleep that you and I so frequently don't get in our technology-driven, fast-paced lives. You can find it at some retail stores, but you can also purchase it online and get it shipped to your door. When you do, use discount code TKMC10 and you'll not only be getting 10% off, but you'll be helping support the Keto Man's Club. You can find the link to their website by going to theketomansclub.com. We're thankful to Som for partnering with us, and we hope you'll benefit from the use of their product the way we have so far. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Keto Man's Club podcast. My name is Chris. I'm one of your hosts, and this week, as always, I'm joined by Jim and Alberto. How's it going, Jim?
All is good. It is, what are we at? Mid-August as we're recording this episode, and school's gotten back in session. It's not 900 degrees in southern Indiana anymore. Things are okay. How about yourself, sir?
Not too bad. It is 900 degrees here in Texas. I think that's what. And Berto,
I apologize.
Yeah, and Berto actually feels that way more than I do. Life is good. Keeping very busy. We had this last week the adventure of having our roof replaced, and this weekend the solar panels reinstalled. So it was a very busy week and days taken off of work unexpectedly because of home repair disasters as a result of solar repair replacement stuff. So it's just been very active. It got me a little bit off of my schedule, which I disliked, but I'll get back on. It'll be fine. I'm going to go to bed as soon as I can after this and get up at 4 o'clock and grind with Berto at the gym. So, Berto, what's going on with you other than 4 a.m. wake-ups?
Oh, yeah. School's back in session, so training has moved up earlier because I try to be home as close to 6 as possible to help get the kids ready for school. So, this is the time of year where like the grind is real, and I don't get as much sleep as I need to, but you kind of get used to it. But other than that, like home projects seems to be the thing of the season. Like we just had our master bathroom remodeled, just had our foundation leveled. We're one payment away from paying off Yvette's minivan. We just had my work just finally put together the new demo trailer. So basically, we have a trailer where it's basically a mobile paint shop. We could drag it around to body shops and then demonstrate our paint and how it works to competitors and see if they want in. So the new trailer is awesome. Still in jiu-jitsu, thinking about competing coming up here in the very near future. Just got to decide on a tournament I want to sign up for. But I'm also in the middle of a cut, which might work to my benefit as far as jiu-jitsu tournaments go, because it goes by age and weight. So I'm down about 10 or so pounds since July 12th. And if I can maintain this weight and still compete, I am right at the high 160s right now, so my weight for competition compared to my strength is ideal. So we'll see how that plays out. And other than that, birthday's coming up on Sunday. I'll be 42, and that's really about it.
We're having a get together Saturday or at least you sent out the invitations and hanging out at a brewery to enjoy some hard seltzer and enjoy a little time together. So that'll be fun Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
45 people I invited so far. I think like 6 are going.
Well, hey, one of our members is going to be in town, Matt Weiss. So I'm going to make sure that we get him on, at least aware that this is happening, so that he can join us if he's able. I'll see if I can't help with that at all. But yeah, it'll be good to get together, however large or small the group is. It's been a while since we've actually recorded. We've kind of been doing this spits and spurts thing with recording, and now we're finally back onto a weeknight for recording, I think, which is a good thing. So that will hopefully get us on a more regular schedule for recording, as well as releasing, as I take more control of my schedule and editing process and things like that. So yeah, that's great. A couple podcast business things to attend to, of course, is you want to make sure that you check out our website, theketomansclub.com. All of our links to all of our social media, all of our social media, all of our the store, the affiliate links for all the different companies that we partnered with, all of that is available at theketomansclub.com. And you can get to the group, the Facebook group, both of them, the 101 and the primary, by going there to theketomansclub.com as well. So you've got a great option there for being able to connect with us in that way. So, Jim, what's going on club wise as far as Facebook and everything else like that? I haven't seen a lot of movement or business, but what is there going on?
Well, I think in the main group, we've been hovering in this like 3,600 member range for a little while, and I don't know we've got a solid group, obviously good engagement and everything. I don't know that I don't know what the pause is on things. I follow a couple of different groups on Facebook that are for administrators and moderators, and it seems like it's kind of across the board. So one of the things that we talk about regularly on here is about joining the groups, getting engaged and getting involved and whatnot. It's just a couple of basic questions to get in the group. We just need to verify that you know what you're talking about, what you're doing, etc. And so if you don't do that, we're not going to let you in. It's not that we don't like you. We just can't let you into the club unless you know what's going on, kind of thing. The 101 group is more basic, but it does have some simple questions answer. Are you a man? Why are you wanting to join the group and whatnot? So getting involved and making sure that you pay attention to those questions is what's going to get you into the group. Either one. And I've noticed I actually joined a completely random group a couple weeks ago on Facebook through my phone, excuse me, and it is a process to do on a phone versus on a computer. So I say all of this with the idea that, just pay attention. If it says that there's a couple questions to answer, please do so. We'd love to have you get involved in everything. I think we've had some guys that have ended up in Facebook jail, not necessarily because of anything in our group, but the way of the world these days. Facebook has decided that if you use the word fat in 1963, you are not allowed back on Facebook, kind of thing. And I say that jokingly, but half serious, because in a group like ours, excuse me, in any group that talks about health, the subject of fat comes up quite a bit. And it is apparently a word that gets flagged by the Facebook monsters out there, because it's all computer generated and whatnot. Nobody's scanning through and reading everything, I don't think. And it causes problems. Yeah. So there's been some of that over the last several months. And it's, again, not just with our groups and whatnot. So I say all of that with the caveat that, hey, we're still around. We still want you to be involved in everything. Just know that sometimes those Facebook bots are reading things and do not understand sarcasm, do not understand the intent with which a comment was made. And all of a sudden, oops, you're out for 3 days or whatever. So that's the rundown on life and whatnot. But the 101 group is growing very, very well. I think we're up to like 1,200, 1,300 guys in there. So for being a little over a year old is pretty awesome. So having 5,000 guys between the two groups, between our page for the podcast, between our Instagram and whatnot, I'm not too concerned about the coverage that we've got out there.
Yep, it's a pretty good group.
That's my rant and ramble and raving. That's your Jim's. There's not even a good word for it that starts with a J. So yeah, there you go.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, let's jump into our shout outs of the week. Berto, let's start with you.
Shout out to anyone who's going through the struggle right now. It's very stressful times in this world, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse daily. So if you're doing what you got to do to maintain, a shout out goes to you, and that includes the one and only Yogi Parker, who's back in the truck and sticking to the game plan and doing what he does best and doing what he's really good at, and that's sticking to keto, creating what appear to be outstanding meals, all while driving a semi-truck. And part of that also goes with, man, if he can do it while driving a semi-truck all day, pretty much anyone can.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to shout out one of our 101 members, Oscar Pineda. And he posted a couple days ago, 1 year apart, keto and regular exercise, 100% does wonders, he says. And it shows one picture, and he's kind of that skinny fat thing. Like, he's not like big bellied or anything like that, but you can tell he's got a lot of fat hanging out both in the chest and the waist, and he's letting the keto nipple free and all that type of stuff. So you can see there's fat that can be lost. And then you go to his second picture where he's finishing up a triathlon, it looks like, and he is just cut to shreds, and he's in our beginners group. We need to upgrade him because he's doing an awesome job, whatever it is that he's doing. So, Oscar, good job to you. Excellent work. And thanks for sharing to encourage people that they can do it too, that they can get in there and get things done. Jim, how about you?
My shout out is going to Brett Yo. And Brett is, I don't believe he's actually in either of our groups, but he is one of our followers on our Instagram. And this guy, he's 37 years old. At his high weight, he was 623 pounds, and he has dropped 213 so far. So he's still a big guy, but he has made huge progress. About a month ago, he was on our buddy Mike Gorman's show. So he's just rocking it out. And if you go to our Instagram, you're going to see all kinds of stories like this. If you look through our followers, I guess is what I'm saying. And this guy just is awesome. So doing a little bit of cross promotion here between the Instagram for Mike Gorman, but also for this guy who's dropped 200 pounds and is just keeping on. That's pretty remarkable. So kudos to Brett Yo.
Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and not postpone it any further. We've got our friend and real champ here with us to share his story today, Jason Thompson. Really thankful that he's finally getting on. He has been through it. He's a hard worker. Berto and I are in a kind of a small group chat thing, and he's constantly in there just doing the work, putting the time in, and now he's kind of in a very different stage of his journey than what he started from. But let's start at the beginning. Jason, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are in the world, just kind of some life statistics, and then kind of tell us what life pre-keto was like.
So basically, me in a nutshell, 37-year-old sheet metal foreman, commercial HVAC, wife, 2 kids, just sent one off to college. Pretty fun loving, most of the time hunting, fishing. Pre-keto, I ate, drank like a fish, and I had tried dieting in the past, mostly just low fat, which I'd lose 20, 30 pounds in 4 months, but then couldn't stick with it and would fall back.
Let's talk about the discovery thing. You get to, what was your weight at the tail end when you found keto, and kind of how did you find keto?
So January of 2000, I was clocking in at right about 285. About May, my wife actually looked into a program, a diet program here, which what it was, but the main basis of it was keto. I had heard about keto before from people I had worked with that had moderate success, and I honestly didn't have anything to do with it, didn't want anything to do with it. So when the wife started talking about it, I started researching more and decided we'll give it a shot, and kept running with it, and glad we did.
Let's talk about the beginnings. What was it like? What was the adjustment to this new way of eating? What did you crave the most? Things like that.
The adjustment, I've always been a steak and potatoes guy, and losing the potatoes and pasta and stuff was a little rough, but made the adjustment pretty quick. I've never been big on sweets. I take them or leave them type deal, so that didn't bother me a whole lot.
So when you got started, what was the plan of attack? Were you eating smaller meals? Were you eating different types of things? Were you having to chug water? What was that initial change up for you?
Basically, when we started, she had a recipe book she was given to start this program, and we just started Googling stuff, and this sounds good, we'll try it.
Your wife, you said your wife was involved, so what was her goal? Does she want to lose weight as well, or just kind of tone up a little bit, or what was going on with her?
She wanted to lose the weight. I started to support her and kept going.
Awesome.
Team efforts are always good.
Yes.
So you said you were up to 285, was that right?
Yep.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
That's still a big guy. Anyway, you got it. 285 is a big guy.
Yep.
So once you got kind of rolling with keto, how was your experience coming from like that much weight? Like, did it start falling off you immediately? Was it a slow start? Did you kind of not realize how it was going to go? Was it slow and confusing, or was it fast and like surprising, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
For me, it was really fast. I want to say after 3 months, I had lost 50 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I think day 3 is when I started tracking and planning ahead, and I've been doing it ever since. Every night I sit down and get into my tracking app and set up the next day.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really unique about you is I don't know many people that pre-track and set their food up the next day. Like I literally wing it every morning. Like I don't even know what I'm gonna eat for breakfast tomorrow. I'll figure it out tomorrow. I don't know what I'm eating for lunch tomorrow. I'll figure that out tomorrow too. I just make sure I hit my numbers by the end of the day and it's all good. But yeah, you definitely have a much more calculated approach to where like you've got it down to exactly what you're gonna eat the next day. It's not even a thought for you anymore.
Yeah, I try every now and then to go off like that, and I end up having a breakdown and don't know what to eat, and then overeat.
You said you were a steak and potatoes guy. Was it hard to give it up?
No, not at all. I kind of set my mind to making it work and stuck with it. Really hard-headed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that type of tenacity, though, is actually a very good thing. It's an asset that you can absolutely put to use in your favor, and you're definitely doing that. So it's been, how long has it been at this point, and then where are you at now?
So May was a year, so this will be 15 months now we're into it. I'm weighing in right at 175 right now. I got down to 162 at a low after the carnivore cut and decided it was time to bulk back up some and been working on that.
Yeah, that's been an experience in and of itself because you've had to start eating more. You've had to be intentional about making sure that you're eating more. Talk about that and what that's been like trying to plan for and adjust.
I'm already smiling because I know it's coming.
So I want to say at the end of my reverse off the carnivore cut, I was about 2,700 calories and 190 fat, 190 protein, and I was still losing. Low of the cut, I was down to the 1,750 range. Currently, we're just over 3,000 calories, 220 fat, 220 protein, lifting 2-3 times a week, 10,000 plus steps a day, plus working manual labor for 8 hours a day.
Let me call that out. 10,000 steps a day plus working a manual labor job. We're not that
included.
Yeah, included. Well, it's still it's a massive amount of steps per day.
Yeah,
that's but still it's a lot. You've shared some of your activity tracker information. It's like, man, he's out there wrecking with his wife and hiking, and so it's been a lot. So you are seeing results now, though. You've regained weight, as you said. Yep. Have you found that easier or harder than losing the weight?
Oh, probably a little harder to gain now with being as active as I am. And
the fascinating thing about you, and I'll mention it, you can comment on it, is I believe just from the pictures that you shared with us that you're no higher than 10-12% body fat, and you're up 13-ish pounds, eating an obnoxious amount of food, but you stayed about just as lean as you were at 162. And I don't think you grasp the holy grail you're eating out of right now. But you are definitely in an odd spot where keto obviously clicked with you. It seems to have completely reversed and repaired your metabolism. And you are, how old are you?
37.
So your metabolism is on fire now, probably more than it's ever been in your whole life.
Yep.
And you're just nothing but reaping the rewards. And tell us what one of your refeed days look like, because your obnoxious current macros are sometimes not enough.
Oh, they're between 5 and 6,500 calories.
And how often are you doing that?
About once a week.
What do you eat? What?
What doesn't he eat is the question.
Supper tonight weighed almost 700 grams. 90% burger, some eggs, pork rinds mixed in, and some pickles for my sodium.
Okay.
And you got also at 6 foot and currently 175. That's still pretty skinny for 6 feet. I mean, you got a good size to you, but you could still stand to gain another 10 and still look phenomenal. Like you said, the pictures that you've been sharing, your arms are growing, your chest is growing, and it's pretty spectacular to watch from the sidelines.
Thank you.
So,
how much water do you drink?
150, 200 ounces a day.
Okay.
Yeah, and another 80, 90 of coffee.
That's how that metabolism, that's the fuel right there. A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee. Yeah.
I need to probably drink the coffee and do the same. But let's talk about family a bit, because your wife's been on board with this, but you've had your own little struggles, and we don't have to go into too we know some of the details, but you don't have to go into the nitty gritty, but you've had some struggles there too with the family. Share as much as you're willing to about
that. 2 years ago, my daughter decided to go vegan. She just wanted to support animals' rights or something. She has recently, before going off to college, she started introducing dairy and eggs back in, though. She started to see the benefit of those through talking with her about it. So that was a good thing. The son, he's just normal kid eater. When he eats, he kind of has a little issue with having to be told to eat, when to eat. He's 15, so teenage lazy kicking in on that too.
Well, he's got the benefit of a teenage metabolism. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been no secret. I've told everybody about this before, but my wife was a vegetarian. She went vegetarian after we met, and she was a vegetarian. I want to say it was 14 years. So she stuck with it. So it wasn't a phase for her. And it was the same thing. It was about the animal rights, and and there was an awesome point in time where like I was a carnivore and she was a vegetarian. So the running joke was our shopping cart looked perfectly normal.
It was just all one side and all one other. Yeah.
But then, like, and for her, it was the whole animal rights thing. So, we actually had a good conversation about it. We talked about it. And so, the solution was like, well, okay, what if I find a private rancher and I start getting our meat from a private rancher where it's ethically raised and ethically slaughtered. And, there's none of that commercial bad things that you hear about going on. And she said she would try it. And so, I hunted one down, bought myself a quarter steer in a deep freezer and loaded it up. And she said she was going to give it a shot. And she's been going strong for a while now. And she's not keto. She's not carnivore. She's definitely low carb. She's actually partaking in this current cut with me. And shout out to my lovely wife, Yvette, because she's shedding weight. She's down, I want to say 5-6 pounds. And it's showing like the measurements and the weight definitely do not line up with her. But she's sticking with it, doing her thing. And she's doing really, really good. So it's like, you just gotta find your reason, find how it's going to work for you, stick with it, and rock on. So.
Berto, I love how you said that you had to hunt it down and give it a shot, but it was ethical.
Hey, the only other funny thing I heard is any animal that's dumb enough to hunt with a hammer, you have every right to eat.
So, Jason, you said earlier that, you were a meat and potatoes guy. You were at 285 at one point, but you obviously doing physical labor and whatnot. So were you a big kid? Was 285 kind of the norm kind of thing, or did that come on later in life?
Since about 7th grade, I hit a growth spurt, and I was 250 plus all the way through middle school, high school after that. Just always been big, just always told, you carry it so well. Oh, you're big boned. Yep. All the stuff you hear.
My dad on my 13th birthday put an ad in the paper, like in the classified, so not a full-blown ad or whatever, but and he kept that in the kitchen, in a kitchen cabinet door. And at 13, I was 5'11 and a half, 175. Like that's a normal man kind of thing. So I miss those days. But we'll get there. We're working on it. We'll get there.
So, Jason, what specific resources did you find really gave you, maybe not necessarily like the recipes, but the understanding that you needed on how to properly formulate a ketogenic diet and things like that?
Oh, I got to do some thinking back on that one. It's been a while. I want to say I read some Dr. Berg stuff and probably on Keto Mojo too, because the wife ordered some monitors from them right off the bat. And just Google in general, just keto, how to keto, what is keto, what's keto approved, what's not keto approved. Kind of just stuck with the meat side of it. Some veggies and stuff, a lot of cheese, of course.
Were there things that were hard to adapt for you in the diet, things that you really enjoyed, really liked, that you wanted to try and find on the keto side of things?
Cauliflower interested me.
That's not a sentence a lot of guys say, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it just clicked. She'd tried something like that before. When I was doing low fat in the past. She'd done like some cauliflower tater tot deals. They weren't too terrible, and she'd done pizza crust back then too, and it turned out okay.
So I got a question for you, and I know it kind of bounces around a little bit, but when and this is more for my own personal entertainment, when it's time to seriously cram some calories, and you've only got a few ingredients that you want to work with, what is your go-to?
My go-to for calories, usually I'm lacking on my fat, so I rip out that pork jowl bacon that I've shared with the group a couple times. Stuff's high calorie, high fat, and pretty light, easy to eat.
That's a good answer.
Very cool. Very cool.
To go with ground beef mixed with cream cheese. Like I can eat that. I can almost eat that. Like right now I can't because I'm not eating dairy. But like if I didn't know what to eat, dude, a pound of ground beef and a brick of cream cheese. That's a cool. I want to say 1,500 calories.
That would be
like supper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be about 1,500 right there. With because a pound of ground beef is about 1,000 calories roughly,
Yeah.
if it's 80/20. So, you can tell I'm tracking too because I know these things off the top of my head. One of my go-tos for something simple is heavy whipping cream. Just whip it up and eat it. Like it's refreshing and it's fat and it's a nice way to, bump those fat numbers up at the end of the day. That's when I don't have pork rinds around because that's my other go-to.
Do you follow a recipe for that, or do you literally just whipping cream?
I literally just whip whipping cream. Sometimes
'Cause,
I'll add a little bit of powdered erythritol and to it to give it just a little bit of sweetness. That also helps with binding. Like that helps it like have some solidity to it, but it doesn't take much. I just break out the hand mixer and just.
I was gonna say shout out to Keto Evangelist Kitchen. Look up Mandy Pagano's whipped cream recipe. She throws a little bit of gelatin in there.
Ooh.
And a tiny, I want to say it's a little bit of vanilla, just enough vanilla, so it gives you that serious cream consistency and a really good flavor. I'll find it later and I'll send it over to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely, and I will actually do that. I'll put a splash of vanilla in there every now and again too, to just give it a little bit of something other than the cream. But I didn't add that earlier whenever I needed some fat, and just put just a little bit of powdered erythritol in there, even though should be laying back on those things. A little bit won't hurt too much, and that was my last thing to eat for the day. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about what. And I break this question out every now and again. So and this is one of those questions that I like to see what it will bring out. So Jason, with where you are now, knowing what you know, what would you tell yourself 3, 5, 10 years ago that you wish you knew?
That I could get smaller than I thought I could, and I'd feel a lot better doing it.
Yeah, that there was more available, that there was more possible. Do you think that you had given up on yourself? Is that part of why you had kind of just like gone with the flow?
Not necessarily given up, but
okay.
I was going in spurts. I'd go about a year and go back to the low fat deal again, and I don't know. I think having the wife join me or me join her has really helped push both of us. So
I could totally see that.
Is your wife where she wants to be just yet?
Not quite.
I don't think there will ever be another answer than that, to be honest, regarding like any woman in general.
Well, yeah, but if we're being honest, us guys are the same way. Just like Jason, he got all the way down to like this low, and he's like, "I feel horrible." Oh, we need to talk about that. I feel horrible. I need to do something else. Talk about the role, the warning signs, number one, and then number two, how you've treated things like these mood swings and the things that you've dealt with, and these what have to be massive caloric cuts for you.
So the low part of the carnivore cut, I was 1,750 calories. That's 3 weeks. I thought I had it going real good. And I think it was in the chat. I had said something week 4. I believe it was Berto that said, "Dude, it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard." And I was like, whatever. No, week 5, it hit hard. I totally crashed. Mood, energy. I was lifting 4 or 5 times a week before that through the cut. And then I didn't want to get out of bed. Depression set in. Just wasn't in good shape. I ran the low part of the cut without refeeding, and finally learned about refeeds as I was coming back up on calories and started adding those in. It seemed to help quite a bit. And then electrolyte supplementation, I wasn't doing enough of that, and now my electrolytes are about like my calories and really high.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, you're in
absurd.
you're Berto's world in that regard. Yeah, like 3 tablespoons of salt. Just eat
Oh
it.
no, yeah. And it was.
So
I didn't
yeah,
bother to measure this year, but last year in the heat of the summer, I was going through about a pound of salt a month, and I'm sure with your activity level and what you're doing, it's if you were to actually measure it that way. And the only reason I was able to measure it that way is because I had a 10-pound bucket of Redmond salt, and 5 months into the year, it was half gone. So I bet like if you were to measure yours, I'm sure it's pretty high up there as well.
I'd have to look at when I got my 10-pound bucket. It's about half gone.
Yep. So the refeeds, just to circle back to that, basically 1, maybe 2 days a week, you would just like eat until you just couldn't eat, right? Or was it more controlled than that?
I was a little more controlled. I was looking for 1,000 calories, about roughly what I was looking for, which adding 1,000 calories is still quite a bit to add to where you've been at and what you're doing currently. Yeah.
But you were seeing almost immediate mood lifting, like hormone balanced out, like all that stuff, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that's a good point for anybody that has been doing a sustained caloric deficit for a long period of time. Anybody that's been trying to lose weight, that's been, maybe potentially under eating. It doesn't really have to do with starvation mode. It actually has far more to do with hormonal balance and things like that. And it's important to make sure that your body knows that it has the resources that it needs to be able to make the things that it needs to. Otherwise, it's not going to actually do it. And when you get as lean as you were at the bottom of the cut, there wasn't much fat, which is where most of our testosterone, all of that type of stuff comes from our fat. Usually the visceral fat that's in our body. If there's not much of that, it can't create it. And so you have to refeed that. You have to pull that back in and intentionally do more than just energy. You need it for the hormones too. So just to bring in the science a little bit into that, it's not just about what you're feeling. It's also what your body's doing with it and those hormones. So that's important. Yeah. Berto, anything else that we need to hit?
Well, I was just going to add to what you just finished saying is that like last year during my cut, I barely ever did any refeeds. Like I would have ate maybe like 100 or 200 extra calories of pork rinds, and I considered that a refeed. And I rarely did that. So this is my second year running the cut. I'm being a lot more liberal with my refeeds, and on refeed days, I'm allowing some vegetables just so I can bury them in fat to get more calories in. And the funny thing there is currently I am just about as lean as I got last year, and I still have 2 more weeks to go before I start reversing out. So it's going to get pretty interesting here. And through all this, surprising, it's probably because of the refeeds. My gym performance has still been really, really, really good. I'm not like last year around this time that I talked about before. Like I thought I was like ready to die. Like in the world, it was just like the worst thing ever. Like you were saying, like, everything sucks, everything makes you angry, and you're just sticking to these macros. It's not enough. But this year, I'm at the exact same level I was last year, and this year, I'm chill. Like everything's going great. It's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, it's definitely treated you well this time around, and I think things like refeeds, and the fact that you had a very good experience, that your lean bulk was very lean. So over the non-cut period of the year, you really stayed extremely lean already. So you started at a really good spot, a better spot than you did last year's cut, and we're seeing good results. Good results. Okay, well, let's start winding this down. Jason, we know that you're on the in the Facebook group and on Facebook. Are there any other ways that people can connect with you online, whether it be Instagram or some other social platform?
Oh, I'm on the Discord.
Yep.
About daily, and I do have an Instagram. It is jtom_keto carnivore _adventure. I just changed it from something different, and yeah,
Hey, it works.
That's where we
it's a
are.
long one.
I'll have that in the link. I'll have that as a link in the show notes, so that won't be a problem. People should be able to click on that, and I know that you'll be a great source of information for anybody who does reach out, because you've been there, you've done it now, and you're doing it and winning, and that's awesome. So let's just remind our listeners one more time. Check out our website. All of the YouTube versions of these videos, which they haven't been coming out as consistently, even though there's video available for some of these conversations that we've been posting. I plan to post the video versions eventually. It just takes more time and energy to prep the video than it does audio. So I've been defaulting to audio and whatnot. So I hope you understand. But for any video versions that do get aired, they get placed on our YouTube channel. You can get access to those on our website, theketomansclub.com. All of our podcast audio is there on the website, and you can get links to the major websites and podcast tools there on the website as well. So lots of great access to connectivity with us there on the website, theketomansclub.com. You can also leave us a voicemail if you want to. Say you're in the middle of a a half marathon and you feel like, expressing yourself. You can call 512-518-6161. Leave us a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. And then you can also email us at ketomansclubpodcast@gmail.com. So we're out there. We've got a lot of different ways, and we'd love to hear from you in any way that you would like. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Any other last words, anything we didn't cover that you want to get in right before we shut down?
I don't think so. Steaks over shakes.
Yep, steaks over shakes all day long. Well, with that, until next time, make sure to eat meat, lift heavy, sleep, and repeat.